Okay, so hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you again a new upper body workout, and today I failed a PR, but I still got one. So first time trying Larsen press on heavy singles, and it didn't went quite as well as I wanted it to go, but it's still cool. So for everyone who's looking a bit more for hypertrophy, a bit less for strength, maybe you should go towards a Larsen press, as it is really a great exercise for that when you master the movement and stability isn't such a limiting factor. Because stability is still a limiting factor for me, and you will see that as I tried 3 plates, so 140 kilograms or 315 pounds, and on those 3 plates, stability was the factor that made me fail. More so than strength, I guess, even though I tested it 2 times, so maybe I just wasn't strong enough. That's also possible, but you will see that indeed stability can be a bit fucked up when you're starting out with Larsen pressing. But I talked a lot about Larsen pressing, but what is Larsen pressing? Larsen pressing is just a regular fucking bench press without your legs on the ground, so you have no leg drive, you have a bit more range of motion because you can't arch as much, you can still retract your scapula and get like the pre-stretch of the pecs and all of that, but you can't arch. So you can see me going up to a heavy single, and so you may be wondering, why am I Larsen pressing? First off, as I said, Larsen pressing is great for all the benefits I said, but one of the reasons is that recently I injured my back. So for back injuries, you need to be really prudent, and mine was due to extension intolerance. So I can't like arch my back a lot without feeling pain, but I can still get into flexed position or have heavy load placed on my back without much pain. So having had a little bit of an injury, you shouldn't take that as like something really bad, really horrible. You should adapt your training, and that's what I did. I kind of tried to remove any motion that used the lower back a lot for the first 2 weeks, and then I will gradually come back into those motions. At the same time, I'm working a lot on exercise that bring out spinal stability, so for that I would recommend checking out Squat University, but also to tolerate more flexion and extension. I'm doing some exercise on that for now, very lightweight, very spine friendly, and I don't want to have my pain go above 2 or 3 out of 10 while I'm doing this exercise or after. If not, I'm probably gonna worsen my injury, and that's something you don't want. Injuries are fucking annoying. You don't want to be injured, believe me. And injuries can be great teachers. So what that injury has made me learn is that, first off, I need to fucking stretch my back and get it more resistant to flexion and extension, and especially extension. So I need to work on my extension tolerance for my back, and I also need to work on spinal stability, as I said, so side planks, all of that shit, and do proper deloads, even though I'm on concurrent periodization, which should kind of remove the need for deloads, but I think that's one of the things that we can learn from kind of regular periodization, regular strength and bodybuilding periodization, is that deloads can be fucking useful. Maybe you need less of them on concurrent periodization because of the rotation of exercise. You accumulate less fatigue, less overuse, but still you need to be fucking careful. So I'm kind of grateful for this injury because it helped me learn a lot of deficiencies I had in my training, and I prefer that to come right now as I am 18 and still can recover well and quite rapidly, than going through a much more painful and bad injury when I am like 30 and cannot really recover or get back to precedent like strength and all of that. Like when you're 30 it's harder, when you're 40 it's even harder. So yeah, addressing these deficiencies in yourself when you are young, when you are a teen, should definitely be a priority, and also trying to properly recognize them. So that's something you should do. I recommend Rebuilding Milo. So that's a book from Dr. Aaron Orshig, the guy who has the Swatch University channel. Kinda also made me review my stance on cold shower and cold plunge. This guy is really interesting, and this book have a lot of tests on mobility, and all of that can help you recover from actual injuries, and can also, I guess, help you prevent some injuries. So I went through the whole book, focusing on the areas which I have problem on, and I really recommend it for you. So yeah, 140 kilograms. I let you guys appreciate that. Still pretty cool. Yeah, I'm reviewing the video right now. I think I just wasn't strong enough, because I'll let it go for a few weeks and I'll be able to do it. But you can see like my elbows shifting on the movement, and that's one of the stability problems, which shows I just don't have enough practice on the movement. You should accumulate a lot of volumes on the motions you want to master, and for me bench is one of them. And next up I want to talk about some of the best, like the natural lightning is pretty good. Yeah, that's nice. So what I wanted to say was a few exercises that are very good for addressing some of my deficiencies, which are after the bench back of sets. I'm reviewing the video at the same time as I'm making this one, so I forgot to film the first set, but Hell-sit pull-ups, Hell-sit chin-ups actually. So why are Hell-sit chin-ups so good? Because a lot of you and me actually are very strong at hip extension. So hip extension, that motion. So hip extension because of squats, of deadlift, all of that stuff. But we tend to not do hip flexion, which is also really important part of your body to train, and these deficiencies may be also one of the reasons I kind of got a small injury. So when I'm talking about the hip flexors, I mean like abs and some of those muscles between the hips. And so next up we got some fucking handstand push-ups with like quite wide, not a lot of range of motion. I'm doing the best I can. But guys, I can tell you, having not done this since I was like 82 kilograms, I'm now 92 kilograms, so 200 pounds of body weight. This became fucking harder, but less than I would have expected. So, and that's a testimonial to training your overhead pressing strength in a lot of range of motion, because I didn't feel a loss in strength compared to the last time I did this. Simply because as I got heavier, I got also stronger. So these are not great. I mean, I'm just getting back into this motion, but I do recommend it. And one of the great way you can overload this movement, not adding weight, actually. You will add weight if you're on a bulk, you will remove weight if you're on a cut. That's the beauty of body weight movements. But one thing you can do is actually get some boxes or some steps and do deficit handstand push-ups, and that's a great way to overload it, because you'll get a bigger stretch on the shoulder, on the triceps, and well, that's it. Triceps and shoulders are already pretty cool, and the movement will be much more efficient for hypertrophy, and will also get you stronger on your body weight ratio, which is pretty cool if you ask me, especially when you're a heavy guy. So next up, because of my back injury, I didn't want to go on rows, regular like barbell rows, and I'm doing machine version. I could have done this also with dumbbell, just a chest support, but I did want to try the machine, so I think this machine was actually pretty cool. One thing is, if you're tall, these machines will be bad, and why is that? Because one thing you want with pretty much all your motions is to emphasize the stretch portion of the movement. So the stretch portion when you're doing a row is when like your shoulder is pulled like this, and you feel big stretch on your lats and all of that. But if you're tall, if you have a long reach, you won't be able to do that on most rowing machines. Here I'm using the setting where it's I'm the most far off from the machine. I'm not that tall, I'm like 182 centimeters right now, something like that. I guess that's 5'11" or 6 feet, I don't really know. And I'm still quite limited on that, so I can't really get that good of a stretch. That's why I would recommend most of the time to use dumbbells, or if you have proper machines that you can properly use those machines. These are still cool. Yeah, I don't even need some posing, like the lightning was pretty cool on this machine, and bulk is treating me pretty well. I guess I didn't get that fat. I got a bit fatter. You will get a bit fatter on bulk, even if you try to do a clean bulk and all of that shit. Except maybe if you're really a calisthenics athlete and you're bulking so slow that it's almost imperceptible. You can't almost see it. But yeah, for most of you, you will need to bulk. You will indeed lose some definition, and that's fucking okay. So right now I'm a bit, I would say at half of the bulk. I already got up from 84 kilograms to 92. That's a 8 kilogram gain, which is pretty cool. I feel pretty bulbous right now, but I still have 8 kilograms to gain because the goal for this bulk is 100 kilograms. And one thing I want to say is, like, a lot of YouTubers will be like, oh, you should stop the bulk when you feel like it and all that. I don't really agree with that. I think it's cool to have like some weight goal that you find cool, and for me that was 100 kilograms, 220 pounds, and yeah, depends on when you are at in your lifting career. You shouldn't play something too high that you're just going to become fat, but you should still put something like pretty challenging, the Goldilocks zone, if you know what I mean. And yeah, next up again, to train hip flexors, because I don't want to get injured again. And it's always too cool to have more abs and hip flexor strength, also to kick some asses. So we have some healthy, some leg raises. Pretty regular motions, work pretty well if you ask me. Yeah, don't sleep on these. Again, like for the pull-ups and all of that, don't sleep on this movement. Don't go to only machine shit and all of that, especially if you're someone who has access to quite a low quality gym. Most of the time the best movements you will have, whether it is for strength or hypertrophy, will be free weight movements that you adapt to your anatomy and all of that. Not all the time, but most of the time, as I say. And if you have the chance to be in a gym where you have like really high quality weights, machines, yeah, maybe you could use them. For me, I don't want to, because I just find it to be much more fun to use free weights, but that's a personal preference. One thing you need to know in fitness is that everything works. As long as you have the proper intensity, that you stick to your program, and that you make progress over the months, the years, everything pretty much works. And for all the better natties in the industry, all the guys who got to the highest level without pinning some steroids, you can see that those guys don't have at all the same training methods. So you could attribute their success pretty much to hypertrophy, consistency, and hard work, and a bit of genetics, of course. But exercise selection and all of that, I would say, even though they are a big part of lifting and are very important and very interesting to learn about and to make, most of it is just consistency over the years and not injuring yourself too often. So that's the main takeaway of this video for me. Be consistent. Find a lifting program that fits your needs and that is fun to you, and avoid injuries at all costs, because that's not cool being injured. And yeah, to end up the workout, we got some isolations. So I did a bit of arms because I like arms. Some regular curls, didn't do this in a while. Went up to 20 kilograms for a set of 10. Form was pretty good, I would say. Yeah, again, I'm not a bodybuilder, so I can't judge my form on curls. Please someone do it on my behalf. And yeah, to end up that, we got some school pressures for longer sets of 16, I guess, which I did with 16 kilograms. The form is pretty shitty, man, as I see it. I should probably have controlled it a bit more. It will still have great transfer bench and all of that. And again, one thing that's interesting with bodybuilders is that they are strong in a lot of range of motions, a lot of motions, a lot of rep ranges, and the only thing that they lack, in my opinion, is explosive power. Most of them have a pretty good cardio. I'm talking about real bodybuilder, people that work for that shit, and not like the 18-year-old on your gym that's saying, yeah, I'm doing bodybuilding. I'm one of these 18-year-olds actually. But what I'm saying that these are hard worker bodybuilders. Often what they lack is speed and maybe cardio, but most of the serious ones actually work their cardio. Because in my opinion, it's much more fun to be a complete athlete than to be a powerlifter, bodybuilder, all of that. I want to be able, yeah, you know, the Jujimorphu guy, like very, very popular on YouTube. He got his knee injured recently, but I mean, like, with all he did plus steroids, it was pretty blatant in my opinion. Yeah, that's the kind of athlete I want to be, and that's what I find fun in fitness. And I think you shouldn't let anyone tell you like, oh, you should be training for bodybuilding, you should be training for powerlifting, or this bodybuilding shit is like, don't let yourself be influenced by parasocial relationships with YouTubers and all of that. Just do what makes you passionate, what you find fun, and what you enjoy, and what you want to do over the long run. Be yourself, man. That's the takeaway of this video, I guess. Just be yourself, have fun with your training. Have a blessed day, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video.